What's up, everybody? It's Clark here for the BOS Sports Blogcast, coming here to MLB fans in comfort as the entire 162-game 2025 regular season has concluded. For some fans, it's been a season of fun, season of joys, unexpected thrills. And for others, such as Braves fans, the season ended back in May. For some, such as Mets fans, they watched the team with the best record at one point over the season fall out of playoff contention last day to the Reds and Terry Francona's custom dugout chair. For me, myself, I made a lot of lofty predictions. March 25th, I posted entire season standing predictions, and so far, a lot of those have come through true. Having 4 out of 6 division winners correctly predicted with a little bit of leeway there with the Blue Jays, Yankees tying with the same record. As well, I correctly predicted the Orioles having a tough year this season. A lot of people were surprised about that. As well, the Blue Jays, I predicted them being a playoff team, my original prediction. So for me, it's been nice predictions overall, except for the major error I made. Of course, that was with the Braves, and I had them being a World Series contender. And looking at them going in this offseason, they might not even be a playoff team the rest of the decade, depending on what they do this offseason, if they add the right pieces or not. I was also not so high on the Cubs coming in this season, but they've done pretty well, and I could see them winning a few playoff series as I do have in my playoff predictions here. We'll get to in a little bit. So this episode, I'm going to preview some of the upcoming wild card series. We've got some of the probable pitchers looking up. Likely matchups here. A lot of the wild card teams, they got the rotations in order here going into the last couple weeks of the season. So many of them are going to feature their frontline starters, such as the Reds. They have Hunter Green lined up, even though Brady Singer just pitched, I believe, today, if not earlier this weekend. So they don't have quite all their rotation perfectly lined up. They still have Hunter Green, and as well Nick Lodolo. He's pretty solid. And everyone else will reset by about Thursday if it goes that far. For the Dodgers, got Shohei Ohtani. They've got all their studs lined up. They can pitch them however they want, whenever they want in this wild card series. They got Shohei Ohtani, Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow. He pitched Saturday now. He only pitched 3 innings. But he could very well be available Thursday as well. And with the state of that Dodgers bullpen, we'll see. They might actually use ball. For the Red Sox, looking at AL, they will be the evening game. As we've got Tigers Guardians at 1 p.m. AL and Red Sox Yankees at 6 p.m. in AL. Looking NL, 9 p.m. Dodgers Reds series we just talked about a little bit with their pitching. And 3 p.m. Cubs at Padres. Later in this episode, we'll do some recapping what happened today and earlier this weekend. But for now, let's stick with these pitchers going into this wild card series, as this is some urgent potential information. Tigers, Guardians. Tigers, they've got their rotation set up just about perfectly for what they'd like to do, having Tariq Skubal, Jack Flaherty, who struggled with it this year, but he could certainly turn the month of October. Melton is ready as well. Casey Mize, he pitched Friday. He would be ready by Wednesday or Thursday as well, depending on how long that series goes. For the Guardians, they got all of their arms, most of their major arms ready to go. Tanner Bybee, Gavin Williams, Joey Cantillo, newcomer Troy Melton as well. Couple newcomers there to that Guardians team, but they as well for the Yankees, they have their entire rotation lined up perfectly. Got Carlos Rendon, Max Fried. The concern there, of course, with the Yankees is their depth of the rotation. They got newcomer Will Warren's been pretty solid this year. When will they use him? Cam Schlittler has been pretty solid this year. When will they use him? Newcomer Cam Schlittler. And Luis Gil, Will Warren, other Yankees rotation members, they've struggled a little bit at times. Be interesting to see how the Yankees use their pitching. That's certainly the weak spot of the Yankees. But they've been just absolutely struggling, slugging, mashing the ball. It'll be interesting to see on the other side of the ball, Garrett Crochet, who's been pitching lights out for the season. It's been an absolute diamond addition there for the Red Sox after acquiring him from the White Sox last offseason, extending him. Been absolutely brilliant for Red Sox. Brian Bayo as well come along, and he's lined up as well. The Red Sox can pitch him at any time. Well, Lucas Giolito, he's had a solid year this year as well. Certainly Garrett Crochet, I feel like he'll be a very challenging pitcher for the Yankees to hit, along with Bayo as well. I think they'll give him many struggles, but Lucas Giolito, that's a little bit more in their wheelhouse. And as well, the Red Sox, of course, they have the top closer in baseball in Aroldis Chapman. It'll be a very interesting series. Those two AL series are where I'm a little bit shaky on my predictions. I'm a little bit scared of the Yankees pitchers, even though I have the Yankees going all the way to the World Series. A little bit shaky about the Tigers not just turning something on. Tariq Skubbal's on the mound there for the Tigers, and he could certainly blank that Guardians team if he wanted to, and he's going to want to. So it's kind of a situation of an unmovable object versus an unstoppable force there when the Guardians face Tariq Skubal this Tuesday. So the Cubs as well. Get to the Cubs here a little bit later on, the Cubs and Padres, and preview their pitching as well here later in the episode. This final week of the 2025 MLB season, spanning ending today on September 28th. In some seasons, it's ended later. Delivered a lot of chaos and historic turnarounds, with the Guardians capping off a 15.5 game from behind rally back since July to overtake the Tigers for the first place in AL Central today. Last 3 days saw comebacks, collapses, and clinchings that have completely reshaped the playoffs. Well, Dalton Varsho for the Blue Jays just the other day hit a grand slam off the Red Sox, which salvaged that series a little bit and fended off the Yankees' stomp march to the lead of the AL East. I had the Yankees overcoming Blue Jays even the last few days. I felt like they'd get it done. Did not happen. They finished with the same records. Of course, the Yankees, they lost 8 times to the Blue Jays, only won 5, and with current year's tiebreaker rules, that's how it plays out, shakes out. The Blue Jays take the AL East crown. It'll be interesting to see how long this MLB playoff format lasts. It's certainly from Braves fans, they can't complain it now, can they? But certainly in 2022, 2023, after that record-setting 2023 offense and all, a lot of people were upset about the playoff format. Not as much discussion has gone into it lately, but I feel like it'll still be a hot topic, trying to give those division winners the first round bye, not playing in the wild card series, and could look to the NBA and doing a playoff format between the wild card teams before the division series, and still giving the 3 teams the bye. And that wild card format, do it a couple ways. You could either just simply add another team to put 2 versus 2. Right now, it feels like it's a little bit too wide open, MLB, as far as regular season standings and people trying to get in that wild card. So adding another team, probably not ideal. The other solution to that is to have a playoff between the lower 2 wild card seeds, or a play-in game before having a 3-game series. So you'd see 5 versus 6 play a game, or maybe 2 or 3 could have a series as well, and then a series versus the other team as well. And you can wrap that up without adding too much more days to add to the problem, which many were complaining about before, not so much now, about the offensive layoff and the layoff that the top seed gets with the bye and not facing any opposition pitching for nearly a week there. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it will change, certainly with this new collective bargaining agreement in 2027. See, with the lockout, I think it'll be changed to some degree, because that's just what they do. They change it. As well, the Cleveland Guardians just several weeks ago only had a 2.9% chance of making the playoffs, capping and talking about their historic run that they've been on, of course, with Stephen Vogt, and he will almost surely win AL Manager of the Year. They gave NL Manager of the Year to the Brewers last year after they made the playoffs and made the big deal of losing Corbin Burns and all that stuff. So, Guardians, they lost Josh Naylor. Of course, that was before the season. They lost Shane Bieber. Of course, he was coming back from Tommy John surgery. But still, they righted the ship and came back from that whole thing. So Stephen Vogt, Manager of the Year, looking for that. The dominoes started to fall in 27th after the Guardians got a walk-off hit-by-pitch 9th inning versus the Rangers and scrapping in. Meanwhile, the Astros were eliminated for the first time in a decade, ending their streak October performances. As well, the Reds, they faced off the Brewers in a tough series this weekend and having key victories. Securing key victories. What happened to the light here? Securing some key victories to clinch their the first postseason berth since 2013 when they were managed by Dusty Baker. And they'll face their first series, as of course aforementioned, with those ever-changing MLB playoff formats. In 2013, it was a single-game play-in series, and so that was not technically a series, as this is a wild card series with 3 games, up to potentially 3 games, guaranteed at least 2. And of course, coming down here, the final game of the season, pure pandemonium across the league. Absolute chaos. Last 20 minutes of action between teams saw several major shifts, as you saw the Orioles briefly lead the Yankees, but the Blue Jays, behind a 2-home run day from Alejandro Kirk and others, secured the AL championship. The Tigers overtook the Red Sox to stay in. The Rangers edged out the Guardians. As the Guardians, they overtook the series, to secure the AL Central. And Tampa Bay Rays, they nearly came back and won that game, which featured Alejandro Kirk's 2-run home runs. We got a little bit of highlights here. We'll roll them a little bit. Those games, a couple of those, including Alejandro Kirk's grand slam. Marlins, they won the series versus the Mets to seal their fate and push them out of the playoffs after they've had a recent playoff streak. They were, of course, in the NLCS just last season. Midday highlights, Willy Adames, he's the first 30 home run hitter in Giants history since 2004 when Barry Bonds last did it for the Giants. Surprising, none of those World Series teams in 2010s had one as well. Buster Posey, no 30 home run season. So in Toronto, catcher, aforementioned Alejandro Kirk, crushed grand slam, putting the Blue Jays up 5-1, I believe, over the Rays, sparking curtain call. It's the first AL East title in 10 years for the Toronto Blue Jays. Eloy De La Cruz had a key home run today. Mets, they lost 4-0 to the Marlins. Other notable moments, you had both Charlie Morton and Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw exit the mound off after their last MLB regular season start today. You saw it was kind of ironic. You saw Chris Sale greet Charlie Morton coming off the mound, the former Red Sox, and you saw Freddie Freeman greet Clayton Kershaw coming off the mound. So 2 new teammates, weren't lifelong teammates, but those are the 2 that greeted them coming off the mound. Shohei Ohtani, he rewrote the Dodgers record book with 55 home runs. It's the second consecutive season where he's broken the Dodgers single season home run record. now holding both first and second in the Dodgers record book. Guardians down 11 games to Tigers just a few weeks ago clinched the AL Central. The largest September comeback in MLB history and the largest overall come around since the World Series era began in 1903. They also hosted Detroit, team they just beat last week, and their face-off matches. It'll be interesting to see if Greek Skubal can lock them down this time on Tuesday. The Blue Jays won first time since 2015 with Alejandro Kirk's 2-home run day and heroics with a grand slam. Reds clinched NL's final spot, wild card spot, and officially they'll face the World Series champion defending Dodgers. We discussed earlier. Game 1. See, it's certainly going to be Hunter Green on the Reds side. I'm not sure who the Dodgers will pick. I could see them going with almost any of their guys. Yamamoto, Ohtani, Snell. To me, it's really about who do they want to set up to pitch versus the Phillies. And they'll probably start thinking that far ahead as well. But we'll see. If they go Yamamoto, then I think David Roberts is thinking just a standard rotation, not thinking too hard about it. Which, with all the arms they have, why not? Tigers were 7-17 in December, which is how the Guardians overtook that 11-game deficit. The Mets were 45-24 at one point earlier in the season with the league's best record, and now finished the season at 83-79 out of the playoffs. Might have to double check that record. We got some team stats coming up here in a minute. After some highlights here, got a few highlights of the day. Freddie Freeman, he's in one of those highlights. He had a 2-run home run. Finished with the second best OPS in Major League Baseball among qualified first basemen. Pete Alonso, he had the highest OPS, and rookie Nick Kurtz, who will likely be Rookie of the Year in the American League, he had only 420 at-bats, certainly a stalwart number, but did not qualify for OPS leader and such as that. But he had 36 home runs, 86 RBIs. He also did have 152 strikeouts, so in a sophomore season, he'll look to improve on that. But it's already looking like Nick Kurtz will overtake Freddie Freeman as the best first baseman in Major League Baseball 2026. Stinks for Matt Olson, Braves of Matt Olson, as he's been poking at overtaking Freddie for a few years, but looks like new wave youngsters coming up. I really thought Tristan Casas would put his name in that hat as well, but he's struggled with those injuries. NL East, aforementioned Mets, 83-79 out of the playoffs. That was their final tally. They last 10 games, 5-5. Not even that huge of a skid. The Braves ended 7-3. They were the hottest team in AL East. Of course, the Phillies, they lost Zach Wheeler to thoracic outlet syndrome. He will not be in the playoffs. It'll be interesting to see Ranger Suarez as well. He struggled a little bit the other night, but last start of the season, certainly he's likely focusing on staying healthy and refining mechanics and stuff like that going into the playoffs. So today, some of the top moments in baseball. We had Freddie Freeman's home run. We had Shohei Ohtani homer, his 55th of the day. We saw legends Charlie Morton, Clayton Kershaw exit the mound for final time in the regular season. And for Charlie Morton, Braves not going to the playoffs. Final time of his career, likely. We saw Brian Rocchio with the walk-off home run. So let's get into it. Here is Shohei Ohtani. He goes deep. 55th home run of the year. Puts the Dodgers up 5-0 over the Mariners in top of the 7th inning. The Dodgers, they really quelled the Mariners this series. We'll see if that trend continues into DS for the Mariners. Freddie Freeman, he does it again. 869 OPS for the year for Freddie Freeman as he ends it. gives the Dodgers the 4-0 lead. Here's Clayton Kershaw exiting the mound for last time. As already announced, he will not be wild card roster. We'll see what the Dodgers do about that bullpen. If they're timid about using Vesia, Trinan, any of those guys have been struggling a little bit. Trinan certainly had the bounce back appearance the other day. Roki Sasaki's been clean in relief since he's returned from his injury, so that'll be interesting as well. Enrique Hernandez, he threw 102 the other night. Whew, Dodgers, they got a lot of pitching. Braves, they've really struggled this season. But they gave Charlie Morton a nice send-off last game of the year. Hats off. Brian Rocchio for the lead, for the series. Off the foul pole, 9-8. Guardians' original call was better than mine. But the Guardians, they make the playoffs and fulfill my AL Central prophecy. Alejandro Kirk, grand slam. 5-1 over the Rays as the Toronto Blue Jays win their first AL championship in 10 years. Here's Shohei Ohtani again as these clips are now over. So other teams to look out for, other standings. We saw the Phillies. They won the NL East this year. We'll probably see them win again next year. Astros, they nearly won again this year. They're just 3 games out and a game or two out of the playoffs. The 87-75, they finished with the exact same record as the Detroit Tigers, so they were tied with the Tigers for last AL wildcard spot. Did not make it with the Tigers having the tiebreaker. They will both be back next year, both those teams. Kansas City Royals, they've got a lot of odd pieces. Of course, star Bobby Witt, Michael Garcia has come along there as well for the Royals. They say Jack Caglione is on his way. We'll see. We'll see how much impact that has for them next year. Going back, flipping up to the AL East, Blue Jays. You got shortstop Bo Bichette. He's a free agent this year. Got many question marks. Max Scherzer. Their rotation, I believe, is all under lock. And Anthony Santander, have to look for him having a bounce back year. They got some interesting prospects as well as they treaded in the trade deadline this year pretty lightly. Yankees. Likely looking at Cody Bellinger becoming a free agent this offseason. That will be interesting for them to watch. And as well, will they add any pitching with the injuries that they've had this year? Red Sox, 89-73. We'll see. They always talk about trading Jarren Duran. Will it actually ever happen? Tampa Bay Rays, 77-85. Be interesting to watch them next season. Orioles, they're rumored to be most motivated for starting pitching. I think they'll absolutely sign one of Zach Gallen, Framber Valdez, Dylan Cease, one of those guys. Who knows? They might even pay Dylan Cease towards the top end of the projected range, which I think Boris is putting out. They went around the $180 million range. $170 to $180 million range is the projections I've read online. I'm pretty sure they're being leaked by his agency, as he's not pitched like a $200 million pitcher this year. But he certainly has resume in previous seasons to lean on as well. Upside, all those things. Guardians. They're kind of a pish-posh. Not sure what to make of them. They kind of snuck out this AL Central again. I was not expecting them to do it midway this season. It's kind of a shocker. I was thinking my prediction from March would not come to fruition. The Tigers were playing so well. Of course, Job, he went down earlier in the season. That was a big damper on the Tigers. A lot of them, they do not like the Charlie Morton. A lot of Tigers fans not happy about the Charlie Morton fans, but they've got a couple of nice prospects. I think McGonigal and Max Clark. They'll be up by about next year, and they'll be absolute studs for the Tigers. They'll be back next season for sure in the AL Central. Minnesota Twins. They're kind of a loose collection of odd pieces. Looks like they really hit with that Mick Abel trade, though, as he absolutely gave the Phillies fits. I believe that was just yesterday, Saturday. White Sox. Ugh. Well, they got 60 wins. That's just what's that? 12 less than the Braves or something like that. So they're starting to get up there. Mariners, they'll be back again. Astros, Athletics, they're coming up with Nick Kurtz. Interesting. They probably won't add anything till they start heading to Vegas. So they'll probably still be a non-playoff team, but still 70-ish win team probably. Until they start adding their salary-wise. Philly, and will they ever trade Mason Miller? It'll be interesting. Interesting question. Phillies, they'll be back. Mets, they'll spend again. They'll be another 80-win team, 80-something win team next year. Maybe better. Marlins, if they just had one decent offseason, if they got a couple of the top names in free agency this offseason, I feel like they could even be division favorites, depending on who they got. They had one really good offseason. They stole the Braves' kibble. The Braves, they really need to add this offseason. I don't think they will. I don't think they think that they need to, but they do. Nationals, when's the Strasburg contract up? And as well, C.J. Abrams, he's kind of fallen off a cliff along with James Wood and their other young players as well. So look for them to potentially be the worst in the division again next year. Maybe trade away some of those pieces that have come and done pretty well. Brewers. They just keep rolling with Craig Counsell gone. Cubs. I thought Craig Counsell killed the Cubs pitching last season, but they keep having guys come up. Horton. See if how much Rookie of the Year votes he gets. NL West, it'll be interesting to watch that. Diamondbacks, they really finished strong. I felt like the Diamondbacks were potentially trending towards a hard off season of questions, but they really played well. And I think they can become a playoff team, playoff contender again by next season. We'll see exactly when Corbin Burns comes back and how strong it is. So, this has been a great episode of BOS Sports Blogcast. Be sure to stream previous episodes of BOS Sports Blogcast. And we'll be back in a week or two as the NBA season starts to ramp up. Start to do BOS Sports Blogcast NBA episodes, as well as keep tabs out here on the MLB playoffs. Keep up to date exactly. Keep tabs on these predictions I made here in this episode. Will the Dodgers repeat? I think they will. I got the Dodgers over the Reds, over the Phillies, over the Cubs in the NLCS, with the Cubs winning over the Padres and Brewers, and then the Dodgers to the World Series. I've got Yankees over Red Sox and Blue Jays facing the... I gotta look back. I think I put the Guardians in the. That Mariners team, they look so dead versus the Dodgers this weekend. That Guardians team is so hot. Stephen Vogt seems to know how to pull just all the right strings, win games, and that's exactly what he'll have to do facing Tariq Skubal Tuesday. And then versus the Mariners, Brian Wu. So we keep track on those predictions here in coming weeks. So be sure to stream previous episodes of the BOS Sports Blogcast, stream Bars Soap Music on Spotify. I'll see you soon.